Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio. What's that?
To record. Okay. What's the it's like a laser sound at the very end. There's like pew pew.
Sounds like it's sampled from Rock the Casbah.
Oh my god. Well, I guess, we have to admit it, Lucas. We're here. This is Matinee Edition.
Quick, 2 episodes in quick succession.
This is what we've made it. You, dear hot dogs, have listened to our voices twice as much as you have in most weeks. Most of the time we get one. Most of the time we get, or sometimes you get none. You
even dropped a couple coffee contemplations the morning of this recording.
Jesus, dude, I did. I got up in a state. I was like, well, it was one of them. One of them was about conspiracy theories.
Always fun.
I found this fucking website called vertigo22.com. And they put together like this huge list of like 500 different conspiracy theories.
Wild.
Yeah, and some of them are fucking out there, like, which is great. It's
fucking QAnon at the top of the list.
QAnon. I think the QAnon episode is why I looked it up in the first
Dude,
place.
I think hasn't QAnon all but stopped now that Trump got beaten?
I don't believe so, man.
I saw something that the leaker quotes for the listener. Yeah, stopped posting frequently.
Oh, I mean, maybe. I mean, it's got to be somebody inside the administration. Like,
it's got to be like fucking Trump, fucking Donald Jr. Like, please love me, Dad.
He's trying to win over his papa's love.
Yeah.
The Trumps.
Gross.
Yeah. It's. I mean, like, the thing is, that the QAnon crowd probably just kind of slithered back into their hole for a little bit, and like they to be real are just like, I mean, it's like people of that mentality will always find a reason or a new thing to latch onto, right?
Yep.
Pizzagate became QAnon, right? Don't forget that it wasn't part of it. It became QAnon. Like, it was, people were like, yeah, there's some sustainability in this like government pedophile ring. So let's fucking keep rolling with it.
This is a promising business.
Well, what's fucking crazy is that there are people being elected to positions in Congress or even
blows my mind
that are like open believers of this. That shit's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay, quickly here. We're recording this the last day of November. We're getting into early December. I felt like I wanted to throw this out there. I'm the gamer of the podcast. I play a lot of games.
It's true. The only games I play are old, man. Most of them.
I've been playing some new stuff. This year I've really taken, because we've been all quarantined, I was like, I can play a bit more than usual. So caught up on some stuff I missed. I want to do my my best game of 2020. It isn't even a game that came out in 2020. It's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Shit!
I played this year. The best game I played this year.
Okay.
That by far. This is the Old Heart Radio Gaming Awards. That doesn't have to correspond to the year that it's actually about.
A plaque will be mailed to the game that
to
wins.
Nintendo.
To Nintendo. Directly to Mr. or Mrs. Nintendo.
Dude, that game is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've told me many times that you really enjoyed Legend of Zelda. You got to get yourself a Switch and play that shit.
I'm currently I'm replaying Ocarina of Time. Like, I was doing that before this podcast.
So good. It's great. If I had to choose a game this year that came out, let's set this. Beginning of December every year, Old Heart Radio Gaming Awards. honorable mention of just a great game I played that didn't come out in 2020 is Breath of the Wild. If I had to choose a game that came out in 2020, so far something that I've played, I made this absolute statement before I even put enough thought into it. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now, and I'm really enjoying it.
Oh shit! Fair enough, man. I mean,
I would say Cyberpunk's coming out in a couple weeks, so I might amend
you might
this
have to
in
eat
a
your
couple
words,
weeks.
dude.
But right now, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is really fun on the next gen consoles.
Dang. All right, Gauntlet Throne, man. The award will be given.
I just realized what that meant. By the way, throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the knights would take off their actual gauntlet and throw it on the ground.
Like the physical act, yeah.
I thought it was metaphorical.
Did you know that like I there's like a legal term for it, but like agreed upon person to person combat is still like legal in Washington state. So like if you were trying to settle a dispute, you and this person that you're in a dispute with could agree to like get in a duel essentially and like settle it.
I thought that was Seattle.
No, it's a thing for Washington state.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was in I didn't realize it was
crazy?
all of Washington. That's crazy.
Next time you need to get into some fisticuffs, to win your argument there. But anyway, so Valhalla beats the newest Zelda game. Wait.
Only because Legend of Zelda didn't come out in 2020.
Fair enough. But if it did, which would be tops?
Dude, it would be 100% Legend of Zelda. That shit's so good. That's the best game I played all year. Frankly, now that I'm actually looking at the list of games that actually came out this year, I've played only Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Hey man, how come Avengers wasn't number one?
Dude, it's fucking garbage.
I just saw an ad on CBR right before this that was talking. It was like 50% off Avengers for Black Friday.
God, no!
Like desperate as.
If I was actually going to choose, I would say Destiny 2 Beyond Light, but Destiny 2 came out in 2017, and Beyond Light's an expansion. That's my shit. I really enjoy that game, but I can't say it because it came out the same year as Breath of the Wild.
Fair enough. Expansions are only expansions and not full new games, so it doesn't technically count.
So the one of one games that I played that was actually released in 2020.
That's the winner. That's the winner.
Let's get off this subject before I make myself look like more of a fool. Have
you heard about, really quick though, just throwing the next gen ideas out there. Have you heard about all this, the PS5 shit going on? People have bought up like thousands of the PS5 units.
Oh yeah, the scalping, I think they called it.
And people are getting like what they thought were going to be PS5s, and they're getting like just random items in the mail and shit like that instead. And so like the orders are all fucked up. Dude,
I saw that like these fucking PS5 scalpers like set up AI bots to buy them up as quickly as possible.
I heard it was so bad that eBay's like actually like officially like gonna crack down on like the people selling them. So
I can't blame them. That shit's wild. It was happening with the Xbox too.
Well, and didn't you say like for a while it was happening with the Switch? Like they sold out, and so people that had them were like selling them for like a couple $100 extra more than like they were originally selling.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, because I remember right when the pandemic hit, Kate was like, "I want to get a Switch." And I was like, "Sweet, let's get a Switch." You're looking, and like those consoles go for $300. We were finding them for like $550, like $600. People twice the markup. People are buying them. We hunted for like 3 months before we found an actual like app price Switch.
Yeah, that's what I remember looking at them and I was like, "Whoa, dude, this is fucking crazy."
Yeah,
like, these prices are. People are asked. I mean, people
are desperate for entertainment, though. Somebody will pay for it.
They are. Speaking of being desperate for entertainment, hop online on Instagram and go follow us at Old Heart Radio.
Message only.
Technically subscribe to YouTube, our YouTube, Old Heart Radio.
Out to our consistent one viewer.
And follow us at Old Heart in Space on Twitter. Technically, we could potentially put up entertainment right there. You don't even know. Podcasting might not be all we do, potentially.
Potentially.
No commitments. No commitment.
Fair enough. So shall we get into the actual meat of this episode?
Yeah, we should actually talk about some entertainment. Particularly some Star Wars entertainment, I think. Anyway, we know that episode of Mando that we just had talked about wanting to go watch at the end of the last podcast, we watched.
I said it during the podcast. I listened to a bit of the podcast after you put it out this morning, and I called it. I was like, I have a feeling that Ahsoka is going to pop up in this one. She popped up like 5 seconds in.
Yeah. That was the dopest thing, dude. I was instantly into this episode because, like, I thought they were going to make it like a last minute, like, cameo or something. And then there was no full bore. Like, you see her in action. Like, her stealth mode was fucking up, dude. It was awesome.
Dude,
like,
I love those white lightsabers too.
Those white lightsabers are so on point. And like one of the hilts is longer, the other one's kind of a shorter hilt. Like, they have some like really cool details in her character that they captured, and like, fuck yeah, dude, it worked out.
And even like the staff from the Magistrate, that's the Berserker staff from Clone Wars.
That full on Beskar staff.
Yeah,
dude, like that shit. I mean, like that episode. Like, I don't know, like when you first see Tano and she's like kind of demanding information, you're the entire rest of the episode, you're like, what fucking information was she really wanting to know? Like, did
you get that name drop though?
Oh, of course, yeah. Grand Admiral Thrawn, man.
Fuck yeah,
motherfucking. I was so like, my jaw just dropped because I was just I'm so stoked that they're gonna try and include him.
Have you watched Rebels?
I've only watched some of it, but
yeah,
you know, like, I think the first time I had heard of Thrawn was honestly, I believe back when like Shadows of the Empire came out for 64, and it got me really into like outside canon, and so you start like looking up
the Era of the Empire stuff.
Exactly, and then you like Thrawn's image was what like really captured me. He like on the cover once, and then I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
So like, do you think they're gonna try to tie these? I mean, like, are they just playing out live action follow-ups to things that happen in those animated shows?
Absolutely, because Thrawn plays a significant part in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
He was essentially like the bad guy for the latter 2 seasons.
Fair enough. Do you think he is responsible for the project that Moff Gideon seems to be working on, in terms of those, like, potential?
When Carlo Esposito in an interview the other day was like, he essentially came out. This was right before the episode, and he was like, "There's got to be someone above Moff Gideon. There has to be somebody pulling the strings. Moff Gideon is like so aware of everything going on. There has to be somebody who's controlling this network of different Moffs."
Yeah.
So, and he essentially was hinting at somebody bigger pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Whether that's the Emperor or somebody else. Turned out to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. And the whole deal with like the Rebels stuff is essentially at the end of Rebels. Ezra Bridger, who's like a Jedi Padawan in Rebels, there's like these weird like space octopus that can jump to light speed.
Dope.
Yeah, they're fucking weird. It's like space Cthulhu. It's like Cthulhu, but they Grand Admiral Thrawn's on a Star Destroyer, and Ezra takes control of the bridge and like summons all these octopus. They realize the only way to beat Thrawn is to essentially just launch the ship into the middle of nowhere.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And yeah, Rebels was like right before A New Hope. So Thrawn and Ezra disappeared into the void of space right before the Empire went to war with the Rebellion. And that show ended with Sabine, another Mandalorian, and Ahsoka going off to find Ezra and Thrawn.
Dang. So
yeah.
do you think the potential of seeing Ezra
Yeah.
that character might lie in the live action.
Dude, they even cast a dude that looks like him.
So you think
Looks
that's
like
coming?
the animated character. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these Rebels characters.
I mean, if Thrawn got back, then it would make sense to like bring those other like that character back as well. You know, like,
especially with Ahsoka also having the white lightsabers. That's from that show.
yeah, they're really following that.
Did you see in the concept art after the show though? After the episode, Ahsoka with the red and the blue.
Oh no, I must have missed that. But that's
yeah.
cool.
I like watching the concept art at the end. It's pretty fucking
totally.
Sweet. But like she has a red and a blue, which is I guess a nod to her never really becoming a formal Jedi.
For sure. Well, it doesn't because she is kind of what Luke Skywalker realizes at the end of during the sequel trilogy, right? You can't be one or the other. You need to try to walk a line of both.
Yeah, you got to operate in the gray area, right?
That's what Tano does, right? She's a member of the Gray Order or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Gray Jedi.
She and that's one of the most interesting parts of her character as well.
Yeah,
and
she you just mentioned it. Is she essentially not? She was never like made a Jedi Knight.
You haven't finished the Clone Wars yet, right?
No, it's okay. You can talk.
There was a terrorist attack essentially, and she got framed, and she was excommunicated from the Jedi Order before finishing her training.
Which would be one of the reasons why she might not want to train.
Yeah.
Another Force sensitive individual.
Yeah. She got caught up in like the bullshit and paid the price for it.
Yeah, fair enough. But that brings me to the one of the other big reveals of this fucking episode. The kid has a name, right?
Oh yeah, Grogu.
Grogu, which is on the surface a really random ass name.
Yeah.
But then again, isn't Yoda? Isn't Chewbacca?
What is language, right?
So, dude, I mean, fair enough. Like, I was just having that debate when the other day somebody was like doing the whole, what is wet thing, or is water wet? And I was like, water's wet because we came up with a word and decided to call it that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, if we didn't come up with that word, it would be something different. That
exactly.
But anyway, yeah, Grogu. So Grogu. I don't know, man. It would be strange to call him it's kind of strange that it has a name now.
Dude, this begs the question. Who was the motherfucker that ran into the Jedi Temple and grabbed Grogu and then left all the other children to get murdered by Anakin?
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, was Grogu the only youngling that survived that shit, dude? What the fuck? But
I know.
Like what's interesting is they reveal that Grogu is of how old do you think? How old was Grogu?
50. They already said he was 50.
Yeah. Okay, so he's 50. Basically a full trained Jedi, a full not full maybe, but
it's like a Padawan.
Well, he sounded like it was more than a Padawan though, because he had like years of training.
Yeah.
How
old was Yoda, by the way? Yoda was like 700 years old.
Yoda was 900 years old or something like that when he died.
Okay.
So like,
still got a ways to go.
But like they alluded to the fact that Grogu essentially over time of having to like hide his Force abilities to stay safe, like kind of maybe forgot his training.
Yeah. I saw somebody point something interesting out where it's sort of like harkening back to what Yoda said in the original trilogy, where it's like the Jedi have to train, they have to be disciplined to use the Force. And I like that they're sort of bringing back the mysticism to the Force. Definitely. And it's somebody pointed out that like, oh, so that's probably what happens to kids that never get found by the Jedi. Eventually their Force power just fades away.
Oh my God. Could you imagine that, dude? Like one day you can't like summon your cup to you anymore. Yeah. And you're just like, oh, where'd my gift go, dude? Fuck. That'd be fucking. It's one of those things of like I guess it's like you don't use it, you lose it eventually. Yeah. I guess, I mean, yeah, you probably, that's one of the reasons why you probably have to start training at a certain age with Force sensitive people, because you have a finite time for them to like hone that skill and then like use it from then on. You know what I mean? So now they're going to like a Jedi world, like a Jedi Temple or something on some random world, which I guess is from one of the Star Wars games. Fair enough. So yeah, it sounds like a really like a area where the Force is kind of like a concentrated feeling.
Yeah.
So one
And
of those
Grogu's going to be put on a pedestal so he can reach out to different Jedi. Which brings me to a rumored casting.
Yeah.
That explains why Sebastian Stan cut his hair.
Dude, yes, I knew we were gonna go there. I saw this fucking keep talking, you son of a bitch.
Sebastian Stan is Luke Skywalker.
I don't know if it's full on true, but I saw this fan casting and this mock-up, and I was like, holy shit, dude. I really think that cat could fucking take that role on.
That is fascinating. There's no concrete evidence other than it like supposedly got leaked or something, and then very quickly like mopped up by Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
But who knows? That is fascinating.
I'm 100% into that. Like I would love to see that and that's one of the dangers. It's like no discredit, obviously, to Mark Hamill. He's a living legend.
Yeah.
But like we want to see more life out of that character.
Everybody does.
And we can't rely, like, I don't want to be one of those, I don't want the series, like any series or any, thing to rely on, like, fucking CGIing Mark Hamill's face to make him look younger. Like, that's not the answer. And Sebastian,
they didn't do it with Han Solo when they aged him down.
And so, like, I think that would be a good choice because he's a good, he's got a moody range. He's got this kind of like, I was just describing it actually to somebody else. He's got this kind of like baggy eyed look that Luke Skywalker has.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. I think he'd be a fun person to put in that place. But do you think that that's the Jedi that will answer, or do you think that the Jedi that might answer Grogu on that pedestal will be Ezra, what's his fucking face?
As Ezra Bridger? That'd be fascinating.
Because you just said that he was cast.
He wasn't cast in this, but like
right.
the actor that plays him looks uncannily like the animation. Like it could translate really well. I don't know. That's the interesting thing. Like it could go either way. The thing with Luke Skywalker though is like, oh, okay, so then Grogu dies at the hands of Kylo Ren.
Well, exactly. Like there's an ending to like Luke's Jedi Temple, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Grogu is either there or not at that point.
While I am really cool with them referencing the like and going with Luke or something, part of me would prefer if they just kept referencing the lesser known parts of Star Wars.
I agree.
And running with that.
I agree. I think they should continue the path that they're kind of carving currently, where they're sort of following up on some of the successful things that they laid down in those animated shows, because those animated shows proved that people wanted to have more storylines from Star Wars, and they just happened to be in the form of those kind of like kiddie animated programs. Yeah. But they ended up having amazing stories, and now they're finding out that they can translate that amazing storytelling to live action.
Yeah. I mean, fucking Ezra's done some crazy shit. He'd be like a cool mentor. He was a Padawan in Rebels. He's fucking run across Obi-Wan, old Obi-Wan.
Oh, shit, yeah, dude.
He briefly was fucking Darth Maul's apprentice.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's like he's hung out with Yoda. He's dealt with the Emperor. He's sparred with Darth Vader. It's like there's some crazy shit that just is like completely outside of the vernacular of like mainline Star Wars fans.
Well, and so even
then we could get an Ahsoka show. Like who knows?
Fair, yeah. Like that. I saw a hint that like that would be a really dope idea. But yeah, you can kind of carve like one of two paths, like using Ezra as a bridge to connect Mandalorian to all these other ideas, including like, the fact that like this person, by a degree or two is now associated with Obi-Wan, is awesome, or associated with Darth Maul, like you just mentioned, is awesome. And that helps open it up more than you'd say like leaning on the tried and true Skywalker method.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I won't go past the Rebel stuff with that, because the stuff with like Obi-Wan and Maul is some of the coolest stuff Star Wars has ever done. So after you finish Clone Wars, you'll have to watch that.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I've watched I've cherry picked through some of the things, and that's one of the things I've watched. And that's like seriously though, like the ObiWan series that is being made and worked on at the moment, probably is gonna like end up getting to some points in that. But
Yeah.
well, no, because if I'm correct, Obi-Wan's kind of like an older man when he when he ends Darth Maul in the desert, right?
Yeah, with then it's Alec Guinness too, like that era. They have a dude impersonating the voice and everything.
So maybe not all the way up to that, but
so you've seen the scene I'm referring to.
Yeah, it's
fucking dope.
A fucking great scene, and it's like what drives me nuts is it's just part of that animated show, dude. It just is like this little like it's that's what I was trying to allude to earlier. It's like both those series really catch you off guard because of their graphics and the way it's animated. Like it makes it seem like it's catered toward the younger crowd, but they have like that scene reminds you of like old like samurai movies where they'd have like the end duel and like shit like that, and you're just like, damn dude, this isn't a fucking kids show. This is fucking rad.
In the same way that like this recent episode of The Mandalorian, like while Ahsoka was duking it out with the magistrate, which it was like a proper like duel, you had the fucking gunslingers out on the other side. And I was like, oh shit, this is like the two inspirations for Star Wars.
Yeah, it was so fucking that is such a great thing to point out, dude. Like that duality was fucking on point. And I love that like they weren't like, an individual, they weren't like off in their own sector, dude. They like just in terms of the episode, Mando could like hear them fighting like behind him a little bit, and they were commenting on the battle and like all this shit. And it's just,
I will say, shout out to the sound designers because holy shit,
dude. Yeah, like everything they're pouring into this show, it's just pulling off. It's working, and it's.
I keep seeing this thing of like the Filoni verse is the future of Star Wars.
Oh, for sure. I think that's been the course that they've needed to head, at least in terms of like television. For like, they just need to accept that. If they go to the theater with Filoni, I don't think that is a bad idea. He seems to care about fan service as well as expanding the universe.
Yeah, I remember seeing I watched a video, and it was like Rian Johnson and Dave Filoni have both echoed the same sentiment, and it was like both of them have said it doesn't matter, like giving the fans exactly what they want doesn't matter and doesn't make for good storytelling. But one of them absolutely destroyed the Star Wars fan base, and one of them continues to bring everyone together.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think that with Filoni more at the helm, which by the way, I think he directed or wrote this episode.
He did. He directed it and wrote it.
Yeah,
him and Favreau wrote it.
Like I think with him taking on more of the helm, like you're gonna see better and better Star Wars content. Like
absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things of just like, why the fuck is Kathleen Kennedy running the show there? Like we've seen what a old comic nerd in oh fuck, why is his name escaping me?
Who?
Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige.
Oh yeah, Feige, man.
We've seen what an old comics nerd has been able to do with a passionate love for what he's created. Why not give it, rather than some like previous Disney exec, give it to somebody who does really good shit with Star Wars in the first place?
Fair enough. Well, I mean, like, to be fair, Kathleen Kennedy has been with Lucasfilm for a very long time.
That's fair.
And like through a lot of their content. And has only been taking kind of like a lesser seat after Disney bought up Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
And so I think really what we're seeing is like Disney's starting to like take over, like, and put people in place that have, like, like you said, like once you recognize talent, like you say with Filoni, maybe soon we'll just be saying Filoni and Feige, like those are the two power heads.
Those are the two names, man.
But
so
either
before
way,
we wrap up, we only have a few minutes.
True.
You wanted to talk about Willow.
Yeah, man. So, speaking of Lucasfilm, Willow is an old fucking movie from, like, I should have looked it up, but I believe it's from '88. And it stars Warwick Davis and Val Kilmer, and it is about basically just a quasi quest of a dwarf, a disgraced knight, and a baby. And they go because nefarious queen is trying to kill the innocent baby and the baby's magical or some shit,
Yeah.
ass stuff.
Mandalorian?
But Disney Plus has been since they launched Disney Plus, they've been working on and developing a Willow series that will like kind of follow up the storyline years later from the movie. And I don't know, I just like, it'll be kind of cool just to see what they do with the property, because it's Lucasfilm rarely ventures outside of Star Wars these days, and this kind of like a deep cut for them. But Willow has like some cult fucking fans. Like, it's got a cult fan base that probably will resonate with the series, as well as like introduce their kids to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is something like I've heard of before, but like I have no idea. I've never watched it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I said, Val Kilmer plays Mad Mardigan, epic. But one of the coolest things about this series is that not Val Kilmer won't be back because he's time is worn on him. But Warwick Davis will be returning.
Sweet.
Yeah, which is fucking rad. Because Warwick Davis is like, again, he's like other people. He's a living legend, man. Like very few other people. I'd put him up there though. Like he's been a part of Star Wars. He's been a part of countless fucking pieces of entertainment work, whether you think about it or not, because he's in a costume most of the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it'll be something to look forward to.
You know what I'm looking forward to?
What's that?
Another classic indie franchise. Tron.
Like a series?
Or
Tron
no,
series?
not indie. I don't know why I said indie. That was fucking dumb. A cult classic. The good old Tron stuff. So everybody knows Tron, cult classic film.
Mm-hmm.
Tron Legacy has become some sorts of a cult classic. I enjoy it.
I don't know if I call it cult, but it's
I've been seeing
it's not old enough to be a cult classic.
That's fair. But I've seen a lot of people in recent years coming around to it. It flopped in the box office. There's an animated show called like Tron Revolution that is fucking awesome. It was made by one of the other writers from the Clone Wars. It's fucking sweet and has a really cool art style. And now they're making, the only disappointing part is that Jared Leto's attached to it, but they're making another Tron movie.
Yep.
Fucking hate Jared Leto.
Yeah, I saw that casting a while ago, and he to make it even worse, to make it worse, he posts pictures. He's like a fucking frat boy. He posts pictures on his Instagram of him like working out to get in shape for his role, and it's like just like he'll be like flexing for the camera or something, and I'm like, dude, you're
not The Rock. Douche. The Rock's the only person allowed to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Jared Leto's going to be involved. Is Jeff Bridges going to be back?
I don't think so.
No, probably because he just recently, I think, he made cancer announcements or something like that.
Wait, he did?
I think so. I can't.
Oh no!
Don't quote me on that for sure. Neither do you, hot dogs. I'm not wishing it on him. I just think it's true.
Shit! Oh, that's so upsetting.
It is. Jeff Bridges.
Why?
If we lose the dude, we're all lost.
We can't lose the dude.
I mean, it'll be cool to see them expand that property again and try and like.
Have you been much of a Tron fan ever?
Not really. I liked because for me it's just about the visual shit. I don't really care about the storyline. Yeah. And so like if this future movie kind of falls in line and pulls off like another cool like visual style to that both of the previous movies have set precedent for, like, I'm in, you know what I mean? But absolutely. I'm not like invested in the story of it.
I definitely think that is the most compelling part of those movies. It's just they look fucking awesome.
Well, and with Legacy, the soundtrack as well, like and so that kind of set a precedent. Daft Punk set a precedent to like make the atmosphere of the next movie big, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's one of those fascinating things of like you always hear when it comes to like music and film, it shouldn't distract, it should immerse you in the experience more. You shouldn't notice it. Tron Legacy was like the fucking story is the music. Like that's the most enduring legacy of that film.
It definitely like that. I mean, the movie wouldn't be the same with a different soundtrack.
Yeah. Imagine if it had like an orchestral score.
Yeah.
None of the cool moments. Yeah. None of the cool moments would be as good.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but that being said, like, again, like, I think those movies have set like a really cool visual and sort of like audio precedent for like really like pieces of work that you should pay attention to. Like, I mean, at least when they come out, you know what I mean? It's just nice that they're going to try. Do you think they're going to try and just make it a trilogy, or they're going to try and expand on it more?
Dude, who the fuck knows? At this point, they're making one a decade. So, like, who knows?
Yeah, fair enough. I know.
Watch it. It's gonna be like the next Mad Max. You know, give it like another 30 years. They're gonna make one. It's not gonna do well in the box office. Shocker. And then they're gonna be like, only when people start going, oh yeah, that was a pretty good movie, they're gonna be like, oh, we need to make another Tron. It's gonna make money this time. And it's not. And the cycle's gonna repeat.